The center of Tropical Storm Debby is slowly moving up the East Coast toward our state. It's causing flooding and producing tornadoes in South Carolina.
We have live team coverage for you from South Carolina to our coast, including a team of meteorologists keeping you safe, involving Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, of course, with a look at our increased chance of flooding here, Elizabeth.
You know, it's nice and quiet this morning, but the rain is here, and it will be here most likely until late Friday night or early Thursday morning. What we typically see with tropical systems is waves or bands of rain. So it may not rain over you the entire time, but we're going to have some bands of some very heavy rain, some thunder and lightning, possibly even some isolated tornadoes between now and the time the system moves to our north. Let's zoom in a couple of places. Over here, a good bit of lightning across parts of Edgecombe County, back over toward Rocky Mount at Elb City, Bailey, Wilson, Lucama, some heavier rain there. And then we have this band that's moving from, say, North Raleigh, just west of Wake Forest, back over through Morrisville, getting ready to lift up through Durham and through Chapel Hill. Good bit of lightning with that one right now. We take a look at our 24-hour rainfall, and it just started raining really just 2 to 3 hours ago, and it's really starting to add up. There in Clinton, almost 2 inches, parts of Cumberland County, at least 1.25 inches. Near Southern Pines, 3/4 of an inch. Smithfield, almost an inch, almost 2 inches there across parts of Wilson County and near Goldsboro. So it's really been coming down heavily. We've got a long way to go. We have a level 2 risk for severe storms down closer to the Wilmington area and a level 1 risk there in the southern part of Sampson County. That's where we'd be more likely to have some isolated tornadoes spin up, but it could happen anywhere. The hardest hit area so far has been near Charleston, where we've ended up with over a foot of rain just west of Charleston proper. And that's where meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is with the storm tracker out on the streets of Charleston. And last time we checked in with Amy, you're standing there with all that water. And I know you've been talking to some residents there. What are they saying about this?
Well, it's interesting to talk to the residents. So they're out here, they're clearing the drain so that the water can recede properly. But they told us that the city really did some precautionary things before the storm got here. One of the things that they did, you can see the water that's on the road here. That's why it's barricaded. But one of the things that the city did before the storm got here was they actually lowered the lake levels of Colonial Lake, which is right over here, by 2 feet. So that's something that they don't typically do. This is a new thing that the city has started to do, and they also have pumped out water with pumps throughout the city. Now, I do want to let everyone know that the city of Charleston remains under a mandatory curfew until tomorrow morning, so they have extended that. The flash flood warning now has been extended until 4 o'clock this afternoon. So they've had some very heavy rain, and you can't even get to the city of Charleston. All the roads leading into downtown Charleston are barricaded. So earlier this morning, the entire downtown area was covered in water. That water is receding. The resident that I talked to said it was really bad during high tide, which is around 10 o'clock this morning. And since then, they've slowly seen some improvements. But we'll have more live reports in our late newscast with the flooding here in Charleston, South Carolina. Elizabeth.
Yeah, Amy, thanks for that report. Be careful out there. It's been amazing to see how much rain has fallen around the Charleston area. Also interesting to note that the city of Raleigh has dropped the lake level in some of the lakes. Lake Johnston, for example, they've dropped the lake level there too. So folks here are getting ready as well. We take a look at Futurecast for the rest of the day today. We're going to continue to see waves of rain, and we'll push that on out to tomorrow. We just continue to see this. This is going to be through Friday night. A 70% chance of rain tonight. It is likely to be that the morning commute is messy for tomorrow as well. Looking at as much as 5 to 7 inches of rain in our northern counties by the time this ends late Friday, and 7 to 10 inches from Raleigh southward, as much as 10 to 15 around the Wilmington area. By far, flooding is going to be our biggest impact out of this, but we do have the potential for some wind to produce some isolated power outages. And of course, that wind may be a little stronger. We've got some storm surge issues along the coast. We're going to take a closer look at that in just a few minutes.
Elizabeth, thanks. We're going to take you to the Carolina coast now. Officials in New Hanover County are urging people to make sure they have emergency kits assembled as Debby approaches.
WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at Wrightsville Beach with an update on conditions there. Kelsey, good afternoon.
Jeff, we're still experiencing that wind that I mentioned earlier in the last half hour, but more people are out here on the beach despite these uncomfortable conditions. We'll take you to video now from earlier this morning when we started seeing that light rain around 6:30. As we're anticipating nearly 2 months worth of rain in just 1 week, flooding is the biggest concern. New Hanover County officials are bracing for the heavy rainfall. They invested in more equipment to control flooding after Florence back in 2018. We spoke with several vacationers who say they're considering cutting their trip short. New Hanover County Emergency Management just posted to their Facebook page a little while ago. They're encouraging people to make sure that they have their emergency kits in place. They recommend that everyone in your household should have enough items to last for 3 to 7 days. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Wrightsville Beach.
And WRAL will have team coverage continuing from the coast all day and all week as Tropical Storm Debby makes its way toward North Carolina. We are helping you get prepared before Debby arrives, keep you informed moment to moment as it moves.
You can also prepare for Debby by downloading the WRAL News app. It will help you stay on top of storm developments. Download the app for free from the Apple and Google App Stores. Good information there on keeping families safe. We're also here to keep your family safe on another topic, Tropical Storm Debby. This will dominate our coverage this week. And Elizabeth, we're just getting started. Our southern community is seeing already significant amounts of rain just this morning.
Yeah, already in 2 or 3 hours, we've seen as much as 2 inches of rain, especially across parts of Cumberland County. Some pretty heavy rain now from, the eastern part of the viewing area up I-95 and eastward. And we've had this interesting band of rain that's been moving up through the Triangle area as well. We'll zoom in on that one, and you can see about to see some very heavy rain in Durham. We've seen some heavy rain there in North Raleigh and through Chapel Hill as well. Starting to see another band lifting on up through Fuquay-Varina and Holly Springs. As a matter of fact, a quick note on Fuquay-Varina. If you remember the storms that came through on Saturday, I happened to be driving right through. Officially, it was an EF1 tornado that touched down, did a little bit of damage there in Fuquay-Varina. The Weather Service folks have been out doing a site survey. But look at this in Chapel Hill. It is coming down. It is absolutely pouring rain right now in Chapel Hill. And that's what we're going to see with this system. We're going to have waves of very heavy rain. It'll taper off for a while. They'll have more waves of very heavy rain. And those bands that are producing the heavy rain, of course, are the ones that are going to get us into so much trouble. This is lunchtime tomorrow. And then it looks like it could be very heavy during the evening commute and overnight tomorrow night. I wouldn't take the timing of those too literally, but this is what we're going to see on and off for the rest of the day today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday before this moves on out. It's a high risk for flooding in that red shaded area from the Triangle area southward for Wednesday, and then it gets even worse on Thursday. It's an extreme risk, something that we rarely see around here. So that chance goes up to high and then to extreme, and then on Friday we'll likely see a little less rain, but maybe a bit more wind. Friday's the day that the center of circulation will move through, and maybe a little more blustery Friday into Saturday, but we should see a little less rain. So our best chance of rain is going to be tomorrow and Thursday. And again, those rainfall totals are really looking impressive. From Wilmington northward, about 10 to 15. Some areas south of Wilmington could be up to 20 inches. Of course, they've already gotten 13 inches near Charleston, where meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is. Our northern counties 5 to 7, 7 to 10 between Raleigh and Fayetteville. That's going to be through the duration of the event, which should end late on Friday, early Saturday. And this is an update. New tropical storm warning. This area along our southeast coastline was under a tropical storm watch. Now that tropical storm watch stretches all the way over toward Morehead City. And along this line in particular, we have a storm surge watch. 2 to 4 feet of storm surge are possible. So our coastal impacts look like this. Again, we have the storm surge. Of course, all of our coast is very low lying. So we'll have some storm surge, some major beach erosion likely. With situations like this, it's not likely to be as big an impact along the Outer Banks, but there could be some overwash on Highway 12 certainly. 40 to 45 mile per hour winds, isolated tornadoes. We've already had a number of tornado warnings around the Wilmington area, and 10 to 15 inches, and flooding is likely, especially central to southern coastline. All 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, are all weather alert days for us. High temperatures will be in the low 80s. Of course, coming up this evening, Kat and Mike will be on top of this. We'll have new forecast maps. We'll have new rainfall estimates, and just staying on top of what we're expecting over the next several days.